Hello, NSCS. I am Jon Bassford. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of NSCS, and I'm here with Kimmi today. We're going to be talking about careers in nonprofits and make sure you guys understand different options that are available and how to get involved in it. I've certainly spent some time in nonprofits myself, working for NSCS and others. But let me introduce you to Kimmi and have her say a little bit about herself.
Hi, so my name is Kimmi Cantrell. I am the Senior Manager of our DC Office of Careers and Nonprofits. We are a staffing firm that works exclusively in the nonprofit space with offices in Chicago, Atlanta, DC, and San Francisco. I'm happy to be here today.
Great. So first, let's define nonprofits a little bit because it actually is a very large spectrum.
Yes.
I myself have worked for 3 different nonprofits, but you have everything from your local food bank and Goodwill type stores, as well as big, conglomerate type organizations like ARP, as well as trade associations, organizations, fraternities, sororities are all nonprofits. So do you have anything else to add about who is considered in that space?
For sure. So we oftentimes consider that anybody who's mission driven. That sometimes includes, social enterprise, chamber of commerce, foundations, think tanks, associations, as you mentioned, and then your social service types of organizations. So it's a pretty wide spectrum, but we base it mostly on mission driven, both organizationally and personally.
Great. As I mentioned, I've had a number of jobs in the nonprofit space. I started out with a professional legal organization. I moved into a trade association, and now I'm at NSCS. So I don't want to go too deep in this, but they each have a different code in the IRS and are viewed differently. But I certainly I kind of am one of the typical people who fell into nonprofit association management.
Yeah.
Association management is kind of what I see as my career, my industry that I'm in, which may be viewed slightly different than your 501c3s, but they're all nonprofits. And for myself, it certainly has given me the ability to learn a lot of different trades. I almost, coming from the legal background, I almost equate it to the prosecutor or public defender who comes out and really goes from 0 to 60 in their learning experience because they get to have their hands in everything. Where if you're with a big firm, you focus on certain things. Same with corporations. As a young professional, I was able to dabble in marketing, membership, business development, operations, and it really allowed me to get into a lot of different things. What do you think is one of the key reasons why students in college right now should be looking at nonprofits as a career?
Definitely, and I love this question because I think so many people have that passion and they have that why behind what they want to do, and they know they want to make a difference and maybe aren't sure how or where or what that looks like. But you can truly make a full career out of nonprofit work. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that. They don't recognize that they can start from their very first job and retire of only doing mission-driven work. And I think one of the biggest reasons why people aren't aware of that is because, when you're young, everybody says, what do you want to do? Be a doctor and a teacher, all the typical things. But people also, you ask kids, who do you look up to? They love being members of Girl Scouts. They love, being part of the Boys and Girls Club. They love all of these different activities that they're involved in, but they aren't realizing that that's something that they can do for
Sure.
future kids and future generations and communities to come. So I think the biggest piece is to just have that awareness and know that it exists. And I think for college students in particular, most universities and institutions are nonprofits themselves.
Correct.
And it's an incredible space to just get involved and learn all the aspects of what that looks like to work for an association or membership or a nonprofit organization by just getting involved on your campus. Join any student organization that has membership dues, or even the ones that don't. They're planning events, they're doing galas, they are calling people, they're recruiting new members, they are doing almost all of these same pieces of work that then grown-ups, if you will, are doing in their real jobs. And so that's 100% transferable. That experience does not just stay there. That can, as a lot of people say, it's not just 4 years, it's for life. And that can go for your job in addition to all the other, involvement that you have.
Yeah. That's interesting. When we're having this conversation, I wasn't thinking about students as already being part of nonprofits, at least majority of students. Through whether it's a social fraternity or their philosophical club on
Yep.
campus, whatever it may be. So many of them are. But as we're looking at students as being involved in nonprofits at a volunteer level, which is really what that is, or a member level, as they're starting to look more towards a career, and if they want to consider nonprofit, what are there some additional things they should be doing now to better themselves for that? And also, what do you recommend they do to find that first entry job in nonprofits?
For sure. So I think to answer the first question is by getting involved on the executive board level. So, it's one thing to join these organizations or to become a member, but it's another to go to the e-board meetings. It's another to plan the events and, facilitate all of that. So I think the more involvement that you can have, I think is good for many, many reasons, but especially in this capacity, because that experience will translate way beyond your years, and you're coming out of college with a degree, but oftentimes not as much experience as maybe an employer would hope for. That involvement is key, because you're not just saying, here I am with my degree, but here I am with my degree and the experience that is completely transferable to exactly what you're looking for in an employee. And I may not be quite there yet, but give me a shot, let me get my foot in the door. I will answer the phones, I will plan the events, whatever it is that you need. That's that attitude that I think a lot of nonprofits are looking for, is being open to wearing many hats, being collaborative, wanting to work, in a team, and doing it for a cause that you're passionate about and getting other people excited about it too. The best place to look for those opportunities, I think we're very fortunate to live in an amazing digital age, and the internet is incredible. A lot of resources like idealist.org is a great place to start. They have not only job listings but also volunteer opportunities. There is, I believe it's volunteermatch.org as well. Very similar, you can put in your information, and they have strictly volunteer opportunities for people to take advantage of, in a good way.
Sure.
For people to capitalize on within your area. So those are always good places to start, but LinkedIn, just going to your student activities office on your campus, asking the people that work at your institution how they got where they're at is a good place to start as well.
Okay, great. Now, as we're, you mentioned Idealist and some other ones that which Idealist I believe has both jobs and volunteer opportunities. Are there other organizations in the industry, the nonprofit world, that are another good place to start for doing a specific job search, not just the filling out whether or not I want this career, but actually going to and finding and applying to jobs?
Right. So not to talk about us too much,
Sure.
but Careers in Nonprofits is a great place to start, of course. We are a staffing firm and we work exclusively in the nonprofit space, and we aren't the only ones. There are other staffing firms that have similar resources. I encourage anybody, any college student, reach out to a staffing firm. They want to help you find your job.
Sure.
They really do. And have great opportunities for people. So don't let the idea of a temp agency, that stigma, turn you away from it, because it's really come a long way since then, and that's not the case. And I think people should really be open to that. But also there's an organization called the Center for Nonprofit Advancement. They're a really great resource, as well as the Foundation Center, and there are similar organizations just like theirs, but what they do is they just provide a one-stop shop resource center for people of any, at any point in their career to utilize their resources, attend their events, network with their people, come learn about major gifts and donor develop, all different types of classes and workshops that they offer, and most of it is free, and if it's not, it's reasonably affordable. So looking at those different resources is always a great place to start too.
Okay. Yeah, and being in the association world for 12 years, I've been actually very involved in ASAE, which there is an association for associations, and they actually, I'm certified through them as a certified association executive, and there's a lot of pathways for them as well. So I want to kind of move beyond the job search itself, and let's just talk about some quick personal professional skills that students should be building to make the best out of their career choice, whether it is nonprofit or something else.
For sure. So I think the most important thing to always do is reflect a little bit on yourself and realize why. Why do I want this? Why does this light me up? Why is this what I'm passionate about? I think once we determine what it is that we want and why we want it, figuring out the who and what and the how becomes a lot easier. So determining why it is that you want to do that thing, and then kind of taking it from there. With that being said, you know, anytime that you're in a professional setting, you should really capitalize on that opportunity to groom yourself into the professional that you want to be. You may not be there yet, but you should act the part, dress the part, talk the part, walk the part until you have it. A lot of people call that fake it till you make it, but
Sure.
I don't like to think of it as faking.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
you're acting as if you are going to own
Right.
that piece of yourself that you know you're capable of and you will get to eventually.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think the rest oftentimes falls into place when your intention's set right.
Yeah, I agree with that, and something I often say to younger professionals that I work with or talk to, whether family, friends, whatever, is that, you know, when you're young is the time to be a little more risky, take some chances. The quicker you can find out what it is that you love to do and are meant to do, the better and more fulfilling your career will be. But I think, you know, being young, it gives you that chance to be creative, and again, I think that's one reason why I have loved nonprofit and association work, is that it really gives you that chance to branch out and really kind of figure out what it is, what aspects you like in a career. I mean, most companies are going to have similar things, which are operations, finance, marketing, business development. They're all going to have those, but which one is best for you? And I think associations and nonprofits give you a great place to start for that.
Definitely.
Any last minute thoughts or ideas for our young NSCS members?
Well, I want to say, by being a part of this organization, you're already on a great start. So I think you're where you should be, and you can only go up from here. So I encourage you to just continue being involved and continue reaching out to resources that you think are going to get you where you want to be. You know, Jon talked about risks, and calculated risks are everything. And so be intentional with those risks, but definitely take them. You know, definitely try everything you can while you have the opportunity. And I think you'll be really pleased with your result.
Okay. Well, just in closing, I want to thank you for being here and encourage nonprofits. And you know, one thing that we talked about was getting involved, and we encourage them to go check out your site and what you guys have to offer, but also remind NSCS members that you know, any organization you're a part of, you are only going to get out of it what you put into it.
Exactly.
And so being an officer, being involved is the best way to do that. And so we encourage you guys to stay involved in NSCS while you're in school and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you.